Guys, today in Real Talk in my rooms, I have two very special ladies here. I have Nicole co-hosting, who is also my business partner in the committee, and I have the amazing Amanda Cruz. And I'm just so excited to dive into some real conversations today with you both.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, Amanda, can you introduce yourself? Tell everybody who you are, what you do, where they can find you.
Okay. My name is Amanda Cruz. I am a realtor here in New Jersey. I cover specifically Middlesex, Monmouth, and Ocean County. I have a team that also covers the rest of the state. I'm top 1.5 realtors nationwide, platinum awarded in New Jersey, and we sell a lot of houses.
Yeah, Amanda is a hustler.
Yeah, she is. You're a great team lead. Like if I was going to be a realtor, I'd be under your team.
Oh, thank you.
For sure.
1,000%. Yeah. And I'll tell people all the time, I'm like, are you looking to work with someone who's really good and you'll actually get business with? You got to reach out to Amanda. So
well, you know what? I think there's such a misconception about real estate these days. We're getting so many but there's so many new realtors coming in thinking that they're gonna get handed these leads. Nobody understands.
So you have to put the work in.
You have to.
You make a good point, because there is this misconception and entitlement of new agents that come in and just think that leads are gonna fly to them. Mm-hmm. We're a part of Zillow Flex, which out of there's I don't even know how many assigned teams there are in the country, but there's tens of thousands of teams, right? Mm-hmm. Real estate teams. Yeah. Only around 550 teams got inducted to
amazing.
The Zillow Flex thing, right? And we're lucky, and you can't beg to be a part of it, borrow, steal,
you can't sign up,
cry.
Nothing.
You have to just work your way to it.
Yes,
That's it.
They find you.
They find you. Yeah. They interview you, and there are standards you have to meet every single month to stay in this program. And once you're out, you're out. But with that, we get so many inbound leads that are really good, viable leads. And I find sometimes when people just come into the business and you start giving them the leads, they have no idea what it was like to actually work for it, a few years ago. Yeah. So a lot of the leads just get drop. So you have to constantly, as a team leader,
you're doing them a disservice kind of if you're just handing it to them. I mean, and then so we talked about.
That's a good thing though. That's great. Most real estate teams don't have that capability of generating leads.
Yeah. It's a good problem.
Oh yeah, it's a good.
It is.
It's just finding people to work with.
So I was gonna say how is it trying to lead a team? We had this conversation the other day. How is it? Is it something that you expected was going to be the challenge, or were you how is it leading a team? Because we're just starting to grow our team, and you have your ups and downs while you're doing it.
Yeah.
So some days I feel oh my God, this was the greatest thing. We're growing. We're heading in the right direction. I love this. And then other days it's what's going on here? Where's everyone? Why isn't anyone in the office? And in real estate, 85% of agents don't make it, right? So having a team, it's constantly recruiting, because a lot of the people are not going to last for the long term.
A lot of turnover.
Yeah. People get discouraged easily. They feel rejected easily. They realize it's not for them. And
it's hard. They realize it actually takes work. It's not people are knocking on the door, hey, come list my house, or come sell me home.
Do you think that it's because it's that's what it looks like on social media? Is that why you think a lot of agents come in thinking it's going to be easy? Why is there such a big,
explosion
disconnect with a lot of the, or is it just people thinking it's going to be easy money, but I really don't want to work and I want to make it quick?
I think it's more people see the bigger commission. You sell a house and you make a nice amount.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So you watch Selling Sunset, right? And whenever they sell a house, they put the commission. And then people are oh, that's how much they're making?
Yeah.
But they don't take into account brokerage, cuts, marketing cuts, all your business expenses, right? So it's not
they're driving around all the time, doing everything before even seeing anything.
Exactly. So a lot of people come into it thinking they're just going to be flooding with money and that they're going to make their own schedule and that it's just going to be so easy and so glamorous and they're going to be, cool on social media. But that's not it.
Yeah.
It's so much different than that. It's so much consistency, so much blood, sweat, tears,
Following up,
networking, prospecting.
I mean, I have to say, Amanda is like amazing at networking.
Oh yeah.
Because I know you. It's funny. I know Amanda from like years ago from New York Sports Club, but I realized this like years later when we were doing the YouTube video. But I met Amanda through the committee, and I feel like you're at the events. You're talking to everybody. You're networking. You just like you show up with this presence. You always speak when you like get the opportunity to. You're just like
you're a hustler.
You do, yeah.
She's a single mom. That's building a home and raising a young girl.
Yeah,
which we know that's like a full-time job.
Yeah,
it's a full-time unpaid job, and it's very expensive. So
to do it the right way, it's expensive.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
But the whole thing with real estate is, you can actually have what you said. You can have the lavish life, and you can look at your living proof, but you have to work it like anything.
Yeah.
You have to step into it. And if you do, it happens. There's those 1%ers that step into shit. But on the real, like, you have to work with anything,
Yeah.
Put the focus there.
Yeah, nothing like happened overnight. Like, it's funny, I'll see people I haven't seen in a long time. They're like, oh, you just like blew up overnight. And I'm like,
where have you been?
Like, I wish it would. Yeah, right? Like,
see me? Haven't you been watching?
Yeah, and it's hard work. It's hard work, especially in this market where we have the lowest transaction count, I think, since like 2008.
Gosh.
And it's obviously opposite with home values. But the people that are just committed, putting their head down and like not listening to the noise are doing well. And the people that are, going through all like the doom news are the people that are leaving the business. So
yeah. So what about like, instead of realtors, like what about sellers? What are you finding like lately with sellers? Are you finding they're realistic with their numbers? Do they have COVID numbers? I think prices are selling higher than COVID times, to be honest. So I mean, how has it been with working with sellers for you?
So most of the sellers I'm meeting with that are actually like need to sell their house are getting divorced.
Okay.
That's the big demographic of sellers. Yeah.
So check, let's market to divorce.
If you're getting divorced,
exactly.
She's your girl.
I'm your girl. So in that instance, the house needs to be sold. So if they want to have this astronomically high number, I really have to break it down. Like, all right, if you're on the market right now, 5 years ago, if you're on the market for 2 weeks, it was still too long.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if you're on the market for more than a week, buyers are starting to look at your house like something's wrong with it.
Yeah.
So we could list your house crazy high.
It's just it's not priced to sell.
Right. It's not going to be priced to sell. And then when we have the discussion in a week or two that I need to improve the price on your house, you're going to have lost so many buyers that if we priced it right the first time, you probably would have got higher. But now you're probably going to get a little bit lower.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's
people don't see it that way. They just want that top dollar.
That's what makes it important to have a good real estate agent to be able to like guide you and educate them in that.
Yes, people. I find sometimes they're scared to tell people the truth because they want to tell the sellers what they want to hear, and not necessarily because they're just trying to get the listing, but because they're afraid to tell them the truth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I would rather like really break it down and lose out on a listing and let it expire. Yeah. And then I can call them, hey.
Yeah.
Actually ready to sell the house now?
Yeah, exactly. And then you get those people that just throw their house on the market, that just see what happens and just keep it on there until they get their number. And they're like, I'm not motivated to move, and I'll just wait till I get that number.
Yeah, and it happens so often.
What do you mean?
Oh, yeah. It's just the weirdest thing. They'll put it on because they'll work with the realtor. They'll take anything, advice, but they'll be like, this is what I want. And someone's going to give it to me.
And they're not going to,
and they'll
and
wait
they don't.
and wait. And sometimes they eventually get something.
I had that happen one time and only one time with a seller.
That's crazy.
That they waited and got their number.
How long did it go for?
Almost 6 months. My listing agreement almost expired. I was literally like, I think a day away from my listing expiring. All of a sudden, like 3 people came to see the house that week. All of them made an offer.
Oh, wow.
And usually, like as an agent, if you see a house been on the market for that long with no price reductions and you call the listing agent and they say that there's offers, you're like, okay, liar, right? Yeah. So everyone that's calling me, I'm like, I know this sounds like complete BS. However, I have multiple offers right now, and my listing, like, it's expiring in like 24 hours. So they actually ended up getting like 50,000 higher than their list
Wow.
price. Yeah.
See, sometimes you get those
That's
sellers,
crazy.
they just know.
But that is a one-off.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't happen
Do
often.
not recommend.
Yeah.
Don't recommend.
No. But
That's-
yeah.
No, I was gonna say that's crazy. I didn't even know that that people would wait that long
You have no idea.
to keep their house on the market, especially now. But I guess
Yeah.
if they have no
Motivated,
what are they
yeah.
just seeing how the
There's people there's houses, and I'm sure, Nicole, you've probably seen this at this point, that have been listed for years over
yeah.
and over and over again, and you're just like, are
Why?
they gonna give it up?
Right.
I don't want strangers coming to my house and interrupting my dinner.
right just for nothing.
Yeah.
But I talked to them, and you have these sellers that just say, I don't have a reason to move. If I get the price I want, I'll move. And they'll just wait simply for their
That's
price,
wild
and
to
that's
me.
it. And if they get it, okay, time to pack. Let's find a place.
go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah.
So what got you into real estate? How did this all start?
Oh my goodness. So it's a long-winded answer, but I originally, when I was 19, 20, I was in nursing school. I thought I was going to be, a nurse and have this great nursing career, and that was my dream. And I was like, I'll make this great money, and I'll work in the hospital. I'll work 3 days a week. That was my goal. And I went through nursing school. I finished. I met my ex-husband, who's the father of Angelina. I only have one child. So he moved me out to Houston because he was in the crude oil business. He was a commodity broker, and he did natural gas and crude oil. So there's a big market out there. So he's like, I'm opening up this shop out there. Come move with me. We ended up getting engaged. I stopped working because I was all the way in Texas. And I got introduced to a much different life than I was used to. I lived in a penthouse. I was flying private to Vegas.
I was going to say crude oil. Damn.
Yeah,
Okay.
he was making big money. And
And there's me. I have no idea what it is. So I was like, it sounds like it's good.
Texas. That's where it all is. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. If you were
Yeah.
to twist my arm and be like, you have to move back to Houston, I would be like, all right, I'll go. It's cool out there.
Yeah.
Um,
I've been dying to go there.
it's nice. The restaurants, there's a Galleria
Girls trip
Mall.
to Houston soon, guys.
Right.
I'm down.
Girls trip. Let's do it.
It's so nice. So I got introduced to this just crazy lifestyle, and met his friends there who were traders, and their wives are walking around with 9-carat, engagement rings, and it's just normal, right? So anyway, long story short, got introduced to this whole different lifestyle. Moved back to New Jersey. I was pregnant with my daughter. We got married a couple months later. And I slowly started realizing I was in an abusive relationship, but I was like, oh, once the baby comes, surely he won't care where I go because I'll be with the baby. He's not going to think I'm with someone, or, one violent thing escalated to another violent thing. But I'm like, oh, maybe it's because I wasn't feeling well, or this, or maybe I could do this different. And you start gaslighting yourself. Mm-hmm. And so long story short, I got into a very abusive marriage, and it took me a few times of actually leaving before I actually left. I actually filed for divorce once and moved out of the house. And then 4 months later, I was back in the house. And the divorce was canceled. And then probably a year later, I realized that oh my God, things are not getting better. And he was super financially controlling. So if I lived...
And you're back in New Jersey already, right?
Oh yeah, I'm back in New Jersey. I'm back in New
Me
Jersey.
too. He's back in New Jersey with you.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
living in Manalapan now.
Okay.
And
I love your story, by the way.
Yeah.
I know.
Thank you. So I knew that once I left for good, financially I'm cut off. And when we were married, I didn't have access to any of our finances. I wasn't really privy to our finances. I had a credit card and a bank account that he would sometimes throw a couple dollars in, right? But to the outside world, it's oh, she's driving a nice car. She lives in a big house. She always has this. She always has that. And no one would know that behind the scenes, well, I have to ask to go to CVS to buy a box of tampons, right? And even then it's well, I thought the tampons last time were $12. Why are they $15 this time? What else did you buy? So it was just...
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was so stressful. And now that I live my life so freely, looking back, I'm I still can't believe that I lived my life like a prisoner. Like,
Wow.
that's what it was. And I always used to tell him, like, you're like a fucking warden. Like, do you not realize it?
Yeah.
And, yeah, so I knew, I'm like, if I leave him, I'm like, I don't have
You're not
anything.
financially secure.
Yeah.
You knew it was.
And I'm like, going back to being a nurse, and like, right, you think about your kids all the time, and this is also why a lot of people don't leave abusive marriages, because they're like, financially, like, how do I support my family? Where in the outside world looking in, they're like, oh, well, who cares about money? Just your safety is first. But you, as a mom, you start tangling your brain.
Because it's not just you. Mm-hmm. You have.
Yeah. You have a child. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's completely dependent on you. Not
Completely.
even like semi. It's like 100%. And how old was she at the time?
She was 4.
Wow.
A baby still.
Yeah.
So she was still in preschool. Preschool is very expensive. And I'm like, how am I gonna like pay for rent? How am I gonna do all of this stuff that she's used to? Pay for a dance, right? Like these things all add up. And when I was talking to lawyers, like, well, you'll get support, you know, and I'm like, you don't get it. He probably won't, like, I don't care what a judge tells him, like, he's not gonna do it. So whatever, I ended up one night in the middle of the night moving out. Like, I had the last straw. He was off in Vegas with like 2 girls and one of his like things, and he's like, oh, no, you can't come because whatever. And I'm like, whatever, I'm like moving out this weekend anyway, like unbeknownst to him, see ya.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but that was like,
yeah, please.
like, he couldn't have made a better decision to go to Vegas that weekend with like some like 2 girls. Not, he didn't know that I was moving out that weekend, but I'm like, oh, okay, this is like God telling me, like, all right,
It's
just get
you
your
have
shit
to
Yeah,
do
like
it.
this is
Yeah.
this is the
This is
best
your
time to do
opportunity.
it.
Yeah, so I got myself an apartment like a month before. I literally, okay, this
Good
is like
for you.
this is like Underground Railroad stuff. For, you know, hopefully anyone listening to this isn't in an abusive relationship, but if you are. So I started getting Costco, like going to Costco, and I loaded up on toilet paper, paper towels, juice boxes, snacks,
Smart.
like peanut butter, jelly, like, you know, if there's like going to be a war coming here.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, I know I'm going to stockpile all of this stuff. And then I was on Wayfair mailing like, what is it? Because like the Costco stuff I knew he wouldn't question. Like, because I was always shopping at Costco. And then like Wayfair, I was like sneaking like a tea kettle and like towels or, you know, whatever. Just like little
So
things, mailing it
smart,
to one of my friends' houses. Just so like I had the basics ready to go. Like I knew I had to really plan it out. So as soon as I knew he was touchdown in Vegas, movers pulled up, packed up like what I could of mine, and went over to my apartment. And like I'm like, okay, I got away like for now. And I knew going back to being a nurse, I would never be able to have even a glimpse of like that life. So I'm like, all right, I gotta figure something out. And that was November before I left the house. I got my real estate license, and then I think
Did he know you got your license?
he did.
Okay.
But like I
Did
couldn't
he
even be
support
too
it?
excited.
Yeah, I was
no.
gonna say, what did he say
I couldn't
about
even
it?
be. He was like, "Oh, what?" He's like, "You're gonna go work for someone and get like 50% commission." Like, why? Like he just knocked it down constantly. Like anything I wanted to do was just knocked down. It wasn't good enough. It was stupid. I didn't know what I was doing. Like, it was
Yeah,
all
he tried
about
keeping you like
lowering the
Yeah.
self-esteem.
Enclosed in your
yeah,
own
because
little,
if you're
his
not,
little world,
if you're
you
out
know?
there doing something, then you're like, and you're bringing in your own money, he can't control that.
Any glimmer of independence was seen as a threat, massive threat to him.
Yeah.
I like couldn't see my friends. I couldn't see my family. Like if I saw my friends, it was out like with other couples.
Yeah.
That like he knew the husband and actually like
Wow.
went out with them.
That's,
So I was like, I always say like I felt like a fish in like a little fishbowl, just like looking at the world.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So moved there. I was like selling my jewelry really to like pay for rent. Like anything I had, I was like, whatever, I don't even care at this point. Yeah. And he, as expected, didn't pay for anything, stopped paying for my daughter's school. But what he didn't realize he was doing was setting me up for like so much more in life, because he made me have to completely rely on myself.
Yeah.
Right? There was like, no, like, oh, whatever, he'll pay her tuition.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. Half my rent will be paid. Like,
That's true. You
that's
had
easy.
to really, yeah.
So he forced me to be who I am today.
Wow.
And like,
You have to thank him
See,
for
but
that.
also,
Yeah.
I love that you saw that, you see that you had to go through all that, and like, look where you are today. A lot of people do that, like, oh, why me?
Yeah, or they just...
But you took it and you're like, and you recognize it, because I think we all go through things and there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
It's just finding that reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I remember the first time I like had my very first closing, and it was like peanuts that I got. And I was
It was
able
like
to
a rental.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it was. I think it was literally like $1,500 or something. And I went and paid the tuition at school. I was like, oh, I feel like such a boss. Like it was
Right?
like
That's a good
I'm like,
feeling.
oh man, like I just paid that whole tuition like on my own. And you know, it was kind of over from there. I'm like, all right, I could do this. But it was hard. Listen, I was on food stamps. Like there were months I wasn't able to pay my rent. I almost got evicted. Like my car payment was like 3 or 4 months late. Like I was just skimming by for a long time. And when I started doing better, right? And I'm talking like I maybe had one house that I got listed or one house under contract. I remember he would like call me and tell me like, as soon as I see your head popping out of the water, he goes, you know I'm going to shove you down and drown you, right? And I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, I'm the mother of
Your
I'm sorry, I'm
child.
not supposed to curse, but
No, you can.
Was he
It's on-
seeing it? Was he seeing the baby at this point? Like
he
she was only 4.
So
okay.
we had 50-50. It was still, we had 50-50 custody, which was at first very difficult for me because he was such a volatile person, and he had like 6 different girlfriends like around her, like in the first 6
terrible.
months.
a rotating door. Of
It was
women.
just constant. Like my daughter would come home and be like, you know,
There's a new.
Yeah,
Samuel
like
was
innocent.
over.
Yeah,
I'm
oh,
like-
I played with Sam's hair. and
Yeah,
like,
so
exactly.
and so did my nails, and you're like, oh god.
all the time. And like
Yeah.
every other weekend, I'm like, do you?
You don't
like,
want that her around that.
Exactly. And I remember my lawyer was like, listen, they're like, in New Jersey's 50-50, like, take that 50% of your time to do your own thing. When she grows up, she'll realize it, and that's it. And it's like, that's all you can do, you know?
Yeah.
So once I know became so long-winded, but so that's why I
Well,
started
no, this
doing...
is all important. It's like it is, and anybody that hears it, it's like I feel like that's inspiring to them, and like there's definitely gonna be people out there that you're gonna help. So.
Thank you.
Tell
Yeah, I
the
always love
long-winded
help.
version, please.
Yeah,
Continue.
so that's why I didn't go back to nursing. That's how I ended up in real estate. Because I'm like, well, if he can be so successful as an entrepreneur and a salesperson, I'm just going to try real estate for like a year and see if it works. If not, I have nursing to fall back on. And obviously the first year went well. And I've grown. I didn't think I would be here. And like, I was always wishing that this is a position that I would be in, right? And so it's cool to see that I've put
That you're
myself
here.
somewhere, that I really want to
and
be
your
in.
resiliency and like the consistency and you just showing up and like that is why you are here though.
Yeah.
You never gave up on yourself.
I always tell myself, like, if there's anyone in this world I'll bet on, it's going to be myself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm not
It's the
going to...
safest bet.
Mm-hmm.
You
Exactly.
know, you control it.
Yeah.
To be honest, you know, I was listening to a podcast on my walk, and it's just something that was said, and it's so obvious. It's like we beat ourselves up about the past, and we live in the past. We're constantly replaying these things, and then we try to forecast our future, and we try to see like what's going to happen and visualize. But the best time to like live right now is like in your current time. You're in your most creative. You know, you're at your most best. You can accomplish anything. You just have to put your mind to it and just truck forward and just live in the moment, because that's when you're your best, most creative self.
It's so true. And sometimes it's so hard to live like in the moment.
But you have
But
to.
you
It's a
have
mindset
to.
thing.
Yeah.
It's when you start to live with knowing your body is all produced with energy. You
Uh-huh.
know, run by energy. Like once you learn, like you can control
What's
the
going
outcome.
on. Yeah.
Not always. Obviously, there's the unforeseen shit. But if you want something, if
But
you
those,
wanna
I think
go
the
for something-
unforeseen thing is that redirection.
Yeah, sometimes it does. It puts
You
us
know?
on a different path, and but the point is, if you just put your focus to anything, whatever you focus on grows.
Yeah.
And that's the God's honest truth.
Yeah. And if there's like something, I realize like if there's a goal you want to accomplish, right? Like you're in amazing shape. Like it goes with bodybuilding, working out, right? Like if you want to look like you, well then you got to be in the gym every day and eat well.
7 days a week. I literally work out 7 days a week.
How many walks do you go on?
both of you. Like,
I go
got to
2
take
days
care of
a week.
yourself. But you can't be mad at yourself if you're not seeing any progress,
Yeah.
but you're not going to the gym and you haven't
And if
cut
you're
out the cake at night.
fasting it, like so many people skip steps and they think they're still going to get to where they need to go, and it's always slow and steady. Always wins the race. Always.
Yeah.
And if you
But what
think
about
that
like the
you're
quick fixers?
well, but if you think you're going to skip, like the people that
That was a good answer.
But if you think like, okay, you want to get in the best shape, and you say, I'm going to follow this diet. And then on the weekend, you're like, you know what? I deserve this piece of cake, or I want to have this drink. You're only failing yourself. And then you're expecting to see that end result. You have to put in the work full time. If that means doing X, Y, and Z every day to get to where you need to do, you have to be that driven person, that motivated, and that determined to get it, and just do it. And you'll get it. You will get it. That's like Billy right now, like he's doing a diet. Like he went through so many yo-yo diets, and I would say to him, like, I don't know if you're supposed to eat that. You know? Are you tracking that? He's like, yeah. And then I would say to him, it's not working. Now he found someone, and when I tell you this man is putting the work in and the full focus, he's down, I think, 20 something pounds.
And that's awesome too, because Billy's not a big guy, so for him to lose that much is a lot.
Oh no, he looks great, but my point is, because I watch him, he won't eat that bite of cake. He won't eat. He doesn't drink, but he really does, and it's so it shows me, like, as you know, someone to look up to, you know, and a mentor, like, it shows me anything I want, you just have to literally follow the process, work it, and just put full, you know.
That.
Yeah, that's what it is. There's no shortcut to getting good results.
You know, just stay committed to your dream and put in the process and the work, or follow the process, put in the work.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And the same thing with real estate. Like, you can attain that glamorous lifestyle, that big ticket commissions, like, but it's not, hey, what kind of leads are they giving? You're fortunate that you are at that status and you get those leads, but you still expect them to work the leads. If you don't have these driven guys or girls that are going to take that lead and own it and make sure until they get a no, I'm going to be knocking on your door. If you know, you have to find the value in those people that are going to want that, because you don't want your status to go. You want to maintain that status.
Yeah, I want to be
with. It's got to be challenging.
People that are hungry and
absolutely.
So it's got to be challenging, because a lot of these people are they
want that quick fix.
Yeah. That's
so
what it is.
So how do you motivate them? Like, what do you do to?
I've learned I can't motivate anyone. Motivation is internal.
Okay.
But I have found a personality trait or a characteristic in people that is the difference in them showing up and becoming successful on my team and not. The people that have something to prove, someone to prove wrong in their life, they come in and they crush it. They're on the phone, they're prospecting, they're following up, they're out with clients.
Yeah.
Those are the people that do well.
So you almost, like, in your interview process, you're like, check.
Yep.
No, you know, and then you pull in the ones that you know are going to be a cultural fit. And
do you have an ex? Do you have a friend? Do you have a sister?
Who are you doing this for?
Exactly.
Yeah,
who are you doing this for?
Let's get real deep on this interview. I want to know what's going on in your life. Let's see.
Who do you hate the most?
Yeah, and tell me why.
Who do you want to prove something to?
Yeah, I have.
And then you have their face
everywhere on all the
first day. You have they open their computer and that's face.
Their back, the desktop computer background is just their face all over.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, and if I'm fortunate enough to, because I could tell who has it in them.
Yeah.
Because of comments they'll make, but if I know who that person is and I see that person slipping, I'm all over them about that. I'm like, oh, okay, we're proving them right. All right, that's what we're going to do. They're going to say, oh, okay, good. He failed. She failed. Ha-ha.
Yeah,
right?
so that's where you come in with a little bit of motivation.
Yeah.
That's where you're like, let's do this.
Yeah.
Remember why you're here.
Yeah,
Exactly. Like, we do, like, our monthly sales meetings. We do our weekly, team meetings and stuff. A little healthy competition is good amongst the team as well. Like, we're big on collaboration, but the little bit of competition, there's a big difference in numbers. So competition, I guess, motivates them.
Oh yeah. Oh hell yeah.
Listen, I feel like I'm a competitive person. I feel like a lot of people are competitive.
Yeah.
Like,
totally.
People
of a different, there's a personality. There's not a lot, but there's a certain personality. They're usually type A drivers that are very competitive. We like to win.
Yeah.
Like, I would go on the boardwalk, and I don't care what little kid is next to me playing the game. I'm still going to try my best to beat you. And then if your parents are playing, I will beat your parents. Like I don't care. That's a level. I babysat and I did not let the kids win the game. I don't care what game we're playing. They're gonna learn what it's like to lose. I do. I do.
So funny.
That's why I was such a good nanny.
There you go. There you go.
Shout out to the nanny.
Those kids are gonna go into the world and like they're gonna have you to prove wrong. Like they're gonna beat her.
Exactly.
I have to beat Amanda.
I have to beat
That's
Amanda.
too funny.
Yeah. You know what's interesting? Like I have a CRM where I can measure everyone's calls, texts, emails, how long they were on the phone for. As you could imagine, the people that have the highest scores week over week are the highest producers on the team. The people that are not following up, reaching out, prospecting, they don't have any business. So it's not like you meet someone and they're like, wow, I really love her. I'm just going to commit to working with her.
Oh my God, can we talk about this? How many, like, you just said, how often, like, how many times do you have to keep going and reaching out to people?
Oh, a lot. I mean, the actual, like, I think the magic number is like 10 times that you actually have to follow up with someone if they aren't responsive. Yeah. Most people only follow up twice and then they feel rejected and they stop.
Yeah.
Reality is like, people are shopping for a house or want to list their home, but they have kids, they have jobs, they have this going on. Maybe they're taking care of family, maybe they're traveling. Like, it's not personal that they're not getting back to us.
Yeah.
But if you keep
They're
reaching
not
out,
thinking about it.
Yeah.
You're thinking about them. They're not thinking about you as much as you're thinking about them.
Absolutely.
they're not. So I always tell them, like, get back on the top of their, text message log because they're driving, whatever. I have like 89 unread messages. So if I'm not getting back to you, but like you consistently like follow up with me for something, like, I'm going to get back to you eventually, right? If it's not something that's super important.
Yeah. Follow up until you get a no. Until you hear, I'm not ready to sell.
That's not even a nothing. You still check in after that.
And even if it's not, then you put them on a nurture.
Exactly.
I'll follow up with you every few months.
Exactly.
And but you keep the relationship.
Yeah.
Until they say, let's sell, or you know what, we're not selling. We've decided we can't sell.
We're going to die here. Yeah.
We're dying here. The house is burning down with us.
Yeah. Like,
see you later. We're going down now.
We're going down.
The ship's burning down.
Down. You'll sell the
If we're still here, I'll give you a call.
Yeah, until they tell you to like go kick rocks, like follow up.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, I had one of my most expensive listing last year. I followed up with that person with no response for a year. Wow. And then like one day they're like, "Oh, hey, we've been meaning to get back to you. Yeah, we want to sell the house."
Wow.
And I'm like, "Awesome. Well, I can go over tomorrow." Like,
see you soon.
I'll see you there.
See you in an hour.
Yeah.
I love it.
What do you think separates you from like others in this, I guess, in the area?
In the industry,
As a realtor, or like as a team leader?
Both.
So I would say as a realtor, I am always communicating with my clients and I like actually care about what their outcome is, right? Yeah. If a buyer tells me, you know what, Amanda, like, and then they're like under contract, right? Like, we looked at the numbers again, like, we're really nervous about this. Like, I don't think like we can swing this every month. Like, my conversation with them is like, all right, well, inspection is here. Like, this is your opportunity to get out. Like, the last thing I want is for you to be under, like just stuck inside your house because you can't do anything else. Yeah. And when it comes to sellers, I know a realtor says, oh, we'll get you top dollar. Like, but I will squeeze whatever last cent I can squeeze out of someone and make sure that they're holding on to that money throughout the entire transaction. I mean, besides like, we do great marketing. We have a cleaning crew come in. We do 3D tours. We do the floor plans. Yeah. We're going back to doing big brokers opens now, like really special open houses. So we do all that. Like, our marketing is on point, but the level of care and service that I give to my clients, I don't think they get from like the onesie choosy realtors, because like they're just like dying to close the deal because they just want to close it, where it's like
they see a paycheck, you actually see a person.
Yeah, that's what it is. And it's like, you know what, the one deal or that deal is not going to make or break what I'm able to afford that month. Like, all right, whatever, we'll go find another house. We'll go find another buyer, right? And as a team leader, I think it's the same thing. Like, I'm a very impatient person, but if I see that someone is showing up and they're committed and like they really want to be successful in the business, I will give all of my energy to them to help them with negotiating, to help them kind of get over their self-limiting beliefs. Like,
that's so important.
Of course.
That's what it is. And people join teams all the time and they're just like, okay, I'm part of this team. And then they realize like, I'm getting nothing from this team. I'm just here.
I'm a body. doing
yeah,
nothing.
exactly.
You know?
And like, there's really no guidance.
Yeah.
There's no guidance. There's no systems. Like, you're just there. So
Yeah.
I give a lot of systems. We obviously give like a ton of leads. We have admin support. My belief is like the agent should just be out with the clients, like not
Giving them the best that they
yeah,
can
and
do.
like not worrying about like back office admin stuff,
Right.
which like holds us all up and takes away so much of our time.
Of course. That's
So,
huge.
Yeah, like I always.
So you
tell
have
them,
what do you have on your team that does all the transactions, or the agents do all the paperwork? I mean,
I tell everyone it's like living at home and your parents are like paying all your bills.
Oh.
So I have full admin service. So there's
I love it.
Yeah, thank you.
Like, that's
Amazing.
amazing.
So it's all their offers are written for them. Attorney review is started for them. Transaction coordination is done for them.
Wow.
Closing
That's
coordination.
incredible.
What about
Literally.
what about the comps? Like, do they make the number? Like, do they write up the numbers, or do you do that like underwriting? Does it like an underwriting person do that?
So I have like one sector of that whole back office that the people that write the offers for us, they will also do the comps if it's requested.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I mean, it's like my vision always for the team was like, I want people that are just
Concierge.
Right.
concierge. That's what.
Like,
yeah.
you have the guys, they're good at getting the closing the deal.
Yep.
And then you have the people that are good at operations. Everybody knows in sales, like, we're not paper pushers. I suck with like documenting stuff. I think I'm good with it, but I'm not. My thing is I'm building relationships and I'm selling.
Yeah.
Like, I'm buying, or in my case, buying, or even selling.
Yeah.
But it's when it comes to paperwork, I get so jammed up, and that affects me, and it affects the way I'm showing up then, because I don't like doing it.
Yeah.
So something that will take someone who probably can do it in a blink of an eye, I'm doing it in 2 hours.
Where you're better off being out on the field,
and
making
it's like
those
wrong,
connections.
you're doing it the wrong way. That's me too. I'm good at talking to people, building relationships, but when it comes to any bit of paperwork or organization, I'm like, no, my brain just like stops working.
Yeah, and then it jams you up, and then you got hours wasted where you could be doing what you're good at.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I have like moms on my team. So
That's
it's like,
great.
I don't want, like, if someone shows a house at 5:00 on a Friday, like, I don't want them to be stuck at home writing the offer, getting all the paperwork together,
love that.
getting all the
That's
documents.
amazing.
Like,
Yeah.
they could show the house, text.
You need to talk about that more.
Yeah,
Like,
you
when
do.
you talk about like building out a team, like that's
Okay.
big.
Yeah, it's huge because I think that
Because it is.
I mean, if I was a real estate agent, I would 1,000% want to be on your team versus.
And you're with EXP, correct? With EXP, I believe that it's full commission after a certain, like, how does that work? I don't know the whole.
Yeah, so EXP is, you have a cap that you reach, right? So, like, as a team leader, mine's $16,000.
Okay.
So once EXP gets $16,000 from me, and that's usually like 4 or 5 deals, I keep 100% of my commissions.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And then since my team has a split with me, right? Because I do provide all these things. I do provide leads.
Of course.
So we have a split, but their commission with EXP is super low. It's only $4,000.
Okay. And then once they cap at that, you're saying then it's full commission, and then it's with you whatever agreement for the services you provide.
Right. So they essentially give themselves a 20% increase in
Amazing.
pay.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That is incredible.
Thank you. Yeah. And for them, that's like a deal or two.
Yeah.
It's a quick cap.
And you work with any, like, fresh out of school, you'll train someone. Like, you'll work with someone if you see they're motivated and they just got their license, you're not going to turn them down, right? Like, you'll.
Nope. Yeah. I mean, if they seem like they're a good fit for us, I will work with them.
Board. So I have a question, because before you said that you're impatient, but I feel like in entrepreneurship and just in this general, like, this space, you have to have patience. So, like, how do you handle that? Like, for somebody who's not a patient person, but like going through this journey, like, how did you? Because you have to be patient.
Yeah.
In real estate, you can't be patient if you want to get results.
Yeah.
Right, but
resilient. Well, you have to be patient in the sense that you know that you have to get up to a certain level. It's not going to happen.
It's not going to just happen overnight. Like you said before, like, it wasn't like a blink of an eye and you were here.
I think my impatience has taken me further than my patience. Especially when you're working with people buying or selling a house. Like, they don't want to feel like you're like,
Yeah.
I'm not playing pickleball right now.
I'll
I'll
know that
you
you have
later.
to stay on top of that stuff, like in real estate, but like just getting yourself from where you were to like where you are today. In that sense, like,
I had no patience.
No?
There. No,
You probably didn't even realize it was happening. Everything was probably because you were playing just work.
There was probably since 2019, I had blinders on and just like a turbo backpack on.
Yeah.
And wasn't thinking about anything. I'm just like, go.
It's almost
go.
like, do you ever get into your car and then the next thing you know it, you're at your house and you're like, yo,
how did I get here?
How did that happen? I swear I went.
Is that because there's a million things on your mind?
You have
like,
so much going on.
Yeah.
I wonder if I was even paying attention to the road too.
Yeah,
like,
you think
that was
like,
dangerous.
You're like, did I stop at that light?
Yeah.
Was there even a red light?
But
Like,
somehow you make it home
Yeah.
and you're just like,
oh,
it's
here we
almost
are.
like you're on autopilot. You
are.
just
Yeah.
know which
Well,
way
that's
you're
because your
going and
brain
you're going
does
fast.
take in. So, like, realistically, like, we are taking in so much
Yeah.
on the daily.
Yeah.
Things that were so, like, you probably get up in the morning. How do you brush your teeth? You same way every day. You use one hand, you use the other hand. It's actually good to kind of, like, go back and forth, keep your brain going.
Okay.
But these are things that you're just doing automatically. So your brain just throws it in the back. So when you're driving and you're like, okay, I'm going home.
You just automatically, no matter
I'm
where you
going
come
home.
from.
Because now I can think of, what do I have to do for Angie? What do I have a showing I have to do? What do I have to do? Like your mind's like in a million other places.
Yeah.
So it just kind of takes what you know and then what you do so often and just files it in that like, okay.
But it's just you're on autopilot. When you know you want to get somewhere, you just go.
Yeah.
And you don't even know what you're doing half the time. You're just figuring it out. You're like, it's working. Let me just
Yeah.
keep going.
Keep going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or like when you're on your
We're
way
surviving.
to somewhere and then you realize you're going completely the wrong way and you're like, shh.
Yeah.
This is
That's
not where I
right.
was supposed to be going.
Oh, that's on the phone all the time. Oh, made the wrong turn here.
Always. It's because I'm always looking for deals. Me.
Oh
driving for
yeah,
dollars.
right? You always got to be like looking around.
So yeah, half the time I'm like, just looking left to right.
You've rubbed off on me so bad to the point where I'll be with other people and I'm like, oh my god, that looks like a deal, slow down. And I'm like, and they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, the grass is high.
I have so many people that just send me text of deals. I mean, we work together.
I'm determined one
Yeah.
day I'll find you one.
You will. Just keep sending them in.
Yeah, it's all a numbers game. That's what it is.
Yeah. And you literally have to do they say 100 times or something, make isn't it like in a scene before you get one
Before you
sale?
get one, yeah.
Right?
I think it's literally like 100 connections
it's 100
to
before you
one
get one
deal.
sale, right?
Yeah.
So what's something something important that you want Angie to know? Like if you could tell her like 3 things that you would want her to
cry.
Aw.
3 things I always want her to know. Well, number 1 is that I love her no matter what in the whole world. Number 2 is I always want her to live a life of growth. And number 3 is I want her to know that
Oh god, no.
that no matter what happened, what situation she's in, if she ever did anything wrong, my door is always open for her to come home no matter how old she is.
Aww, I love it. Oh, you're such a good mom. You really are. She is such a good mom.
Thank you.
That's your girl.
Yeah.
Your
Well, you
bestie.
never know. Like now that I'm older, I realize like the situations sometimes people are in really bad situations and they don't feel they have that one person
support.
to go home to,
No.
right?
Yeah.
So that's I live my life to know that if Angie's 50 years old and shit hits the fan with her in her life, like she's
Come home.
she can
Yeah.
come home, or I
Well,
can help her.
with Brianna, because I was a single mom and I had her young, 22.
Yeah.
So I essentially grew up with her, and I say all the time, like we kind of like raised each other because here I am, 26, she's 5. When I first got divorced, and the one thing that was always so important, and I kept always instilling in her and my other kids is, we're friends too. Like I'm your mom, but I'm definitely your best friend. Like talk to me about anything. And Brianna actually did.
Yeah.
She came to me the first time she wanted to have a drink, the first time she was thinking about having sex, like everything. She came to me and I was like, that's so important because she trusted me. Like,
She trusted you and she felt comfortable
And
to
she
come
felt
to you,
safe.
and that's so important.
And I
Not
don't care.
everybody has
Listen,
that.
there were times that she was drinking and she would call me and be like, and you know what? I was like, I'm upset that you're drinking and it's underage. I know you're going to do it though. And I'm so grateful you called me and did not get into a car with someone
that also was
drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I always instilled it's so
love
important
that.
to make sure like I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to get mad at you. I might get upset with you, but I'll never get mad at you and turn my back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you obviously like fostered that
throughout
your entire relationship, right?
They still, she's still, we just talk, we're like besties,
Best friends. You guys have that cute little like thing that you do.
I am.
Oh, yeah, I know. There's always like people. Kids aren't your friends. Well, you know what? Like you have to be
They
their
are.
mom, but like
They have
you
to
do
be
have
your
to
friend.
be their friends.
Yeah.
Because they trust their friends. Think about it. Like,
Yeah.
think about
True.
us as kids. Like, we trust our friends. We went to our friends to talk to things because we weren't
Comfortable going. Yeah.
And it
It's
wasn't
so
because my
true.
parents didn't love me. I just never felt. I felt that they would judge me and get upset with me more than they would help me.
1,000%. I remember I went to my mom one time. I was like, okay, let's try this out. Love you, Mom, but like, yeah. It was after I was living with my aunt, and I went to like go open up to her about something, and then she was like, "Well, why did you?" And then all of a sudden, I just kept
just
getting all the
went
questions back, and I'm like, "Well, this is why I don't say
Yeah.
anything."
Yeah,
so
yeah.
now I won't say anything ever again.
And there's times that I'm gonna question, I'm not gonna agree, and she'll get upset, but I'm always like, I'm
I
real
think there's a
with
different
you.
way to like
Like, I have to
question
be
it and
real.
being real versus
Yeah.
like kind of like making somebody not feel like they can.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll fluff her when she needs it, but I'll keep it real too. And I think just having that relationship, and being a single mom, it is harder. People don't realize you don't have that back and forth. You don't have that second person. So it is a different dynamic, and
Yeah. It's
we try
different.
to overcompensate sometimes. We let them get away with a little bit more than if there was a man in the house.
Right. As Angelina gets older, I would say, like, honestly, like, in the last 6 months, I really started feeling what you said. Like, you don't have that other person.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because her dad died.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen, he died in 21, and we haven't seen him since 2019.
Yeah.
But I'm, like, more recently feeling, like, that not having, like,
The man.
a man
Second,
around
yeah.
or that second person to
Help.
like, help with, like, disciplining and
yeah.
just the things that, like, you would expect that a dad is present to do, and also just, like, carrying the load of other things, right? Like, we do mom, dad, emotionally, spiritually, like, physically, in person, financially, like, I just started, like, it just, like, kind of popped up, and I'm like, oh, shit.
It would be nice if.
Yeah,
I know,
exactly.
But you're doing it alone, and that's probably more of a, gratifying feeling, just knowing.
I still think I'm happier doing it, like,
With someone?
just, no, single.
Oh,
like,
single,
I'm
you
like,
do? Okay, okay.
Yeah. Like, as much as I would love for, like, there to be that role model, like,
Yeah.
she still has, like, my grandpa and my cousin and stuff. But, yeah, it's doing it all, like, 100% by yourself is,
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
tough.
lot.
It's a different, it's just a different dynamic. And, I can speak for myself. There's times that I'm like, I kind of feel bad that I didn't give, my kids like the happy family vacations.
Yeah.
But it's not, that wasn't my destiny. And because of, I didn't give it to them, I'm in a place of my life where I'm supposed to be and meant to be and happier than ever.
Yeah.
And my kids are happy.
And I was just saying, they have the best.
So,
and
but
have
as a single
everything.
parent, we like beat
Yeah.
ourselves up. We're like, am I doing this right? Do I, but it
And
is
you
what it
did an
is.
amazing job.
Thank
You
you.
both you.
Thank you.
You guys are great. Both you are great moms.
Thank
and
you.
You're very
Yeah.
lucky.
and I think you hit the nail on the head, too, with, like, the overcompensation, because I'm, like, always, like, I'm constantly overcompensating.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Yeah, and Billy gets so mad at me, he's like, you give in, you do, and I'm like, but you have to understand, I feel bad, and
Yeah, and I feel like, and you probably think the same way, too. I'm like, all right, I need to show her, like, what being treated well and spoiled and treated and feeling like a princess is, because
without
there's,
creating
like,
a monster.
Yeah, well, right.
I think I've created a monster in Gabriella.
But maybe for the best, right? Like,
Yeah.
Let's hope so. Until maybe,
Exactly, yeah.
listen, 18's coming soon. When 18 comes, I'm going to say, listen, you like this? You get it for yourself. You want that? Get a job.
yeah.
Because she's getting expensive.
Yeah,
These
you got
kids
older
are-
guy. You still got 4 years. 18's coming. You still got
And,
some time.
she's getting more expensive as the years.
Yeah.
years grow.
All Sephora, Ulta,
Oh, yeah.
this, that, the other thing.
$400 or $500 at a
Lululemon.
pop.
Yeah.
Like it's like I was getting
Yeah.
L'Oreal at CVS.
Literally,
Wild.
yeah.
Yeah, like there was none of my press-on nails. Like I wasn't getting these nails done every other week. Like
Yeah.
and then she
Press-on
pops them
nails,
off.
yeah.
I mean, but it's still fun, and you guys have each other, which is so great. Like I love seeing you two together.
Yeah.
Thank you. There's that meme that circulates every once in a while. It's like, my daughter's not going to be impressed with your dusty son taking her to Miami one time, right? So I'm like, all right, I don't want her to ever be impressed by like, some minuscule trip to Miami.
Yeah, exactly. Teaching her right. So I'm gonna ask one more question to kind of end it off, but we're gonna have you on again because I feel like this. I don't know if you guys realize, but it's almost been an hour and it kind of like flew by.
you're gonna have
Fun,
to-
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it flew by. So if today was your last day and you could only share 3 pieces of information to everybody, what would 3 pieces be? Like if you could only share 3 things that you've learned throughout your life.
Ooh.
Everything like that your social media has been like wiped out, like no one can go and search, like what would be 3 things that you would want everybody to know?
Just about me, or
Be
like
about
a life
you,
lesson?
a lesson, like 3 things.
Number 1, trust your intuition. It's always right. Don't second guess it. Number 2, take time for yourself.
Yeah.
It's okay to
You're
take time
so
to be
important.
alone. Alone time is essential.
That's honestly huge.
Yeah.
You have to be
Huge. And
your
it's
first priority.
And a lot of people need to hear that.
Yeah.
And God has a funny way of always working things out.
Absolutely.
Yes,
That's like my
literally.
favorite. I always say nothing
Mic
ever
drop.
falls apart, it all falls into place.
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Right?
Yeah.
That was amazing. I love that. So, Amanda, thank you so much for
you.
coming
This
on.
was
Nicole,
fun.
thank you for co-hosting.
But
But Amanda, where can everybody find you? Where can they connect with you? If they want to work with you, tell everybody where.
So you can call me 848-309-4120. You can find me on call me. You can find me on Instagram, Amanda Cruz Real Estate NJ. Those are probably the 2 best places to find me. We're only a phone call away. I'm always happy to help answer questions, anything.
You can find her on the committee, Gina.
You can find me at the committee at the networking events.
Director.
I'm not hard to find.
Yeah, and I'll leave everything in the description too as well. So you can definitely find Amanda there. But again, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.